Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. Protests by students in Karnataka over their right to wear the hijab to class has spread to more colleges. On Friday, around 40 women students wearing the hijab stood at the gates of a degree college in Kundapura, a coastal town in Udupi district of Karnataka, as the staff refused to let them in unless they took off their headscarves. Shrija with the top story.
About 40 women students missing classes for the second day at Udupi's private Bhandarkar's Arts and Science College in Karnataka. College authorities have blocked them for the last 2 days. But now the principal has said that he stopped hijab-wearing students to keep harmony, as another group of students has threatened to wear saffron scarves into college. This was not done to appease them. He was just following orders, he says.
And I am a government employee. ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪಾಲನೆ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು 200 ಜನ ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸರಿ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಬರುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಧರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೋಷಾಕನ್ನು ಎಲಾವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಶಾಂತಿ ಆದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ.
Yet, C.T. Ravi, the National General Secretary of the BJP, said the women students should abide by the rules or stay away. Today, they will ask permission to attend school wearing hijab. Tomorrow, they will demand Sharia law. One school, one uniform. If you are not following the school rules, stop going to school. Ironically, the college rule book actually allows for hijabs to be worn. Senior Congress leader and former Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah hit out at the BJP government.
It is a fundamental right. Were they wearing saffron shawls whenever they come to college or schools? This is politically motivated. So that is why the government should take a firm stand.
The right to wear the hijab in class began last year in December at the Government Girls PU College in Udupi district when 6 students were barred from classes for insisting on wearing the hijab. With Shrija in Bengaluru, Vritti Sir for NDTV.
Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi has turned down an offer for the second highest Z category security cover a day after shots were fired at his car while he was returning to Delhi after campaigning in UP's Meerut. 2 people have been arrested for firing at his convoy and have been sent to 14 days of custody. Sukiti Dwivedi has this report.
Clear visuals of gunshots being fired at the car of AIMIM chief and Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi at a toll plaza in western UP's Hapur, while he was returning to Delhi from an election campaign event in Meerut. Today the government announced Z category security cover to Owaisi, which he furiously rejected in parliament.
मैं नहीं लूंगा सिक्योरिटी, मैं Z कैटेगरी नहीं चाहता हूं सिक्योरिटी. मुझे A कैटेगरी का शहरी बनाइए आप. मुझे एक कैटेगरी का शहरी बनाइए ताकि मेरी और आपकी जिंदगी बराबर हो.
माननीय गृह मंत्री जी सोमवार को, आज वो दिल्ली में नहीं है, सोमवार को इस विषय में विस्तार से सदन को अवगत कराएंगे.
The bigger question, however, now is the 2 men's political affiliations. The men arrested, Sachin and Shubham, apparently told police they were upset with public statements made by Owaisi. Sachin, who is from Noida and claims to have a law degree, has many pictures on his Facebook page of him with various political leaders. On Facebook, he calls himself Deshbhakt Sachin Hindu and has an attempt to murder case registered against him earlier. Shubham is from Saharanpur in UP and says he's a farmer. He's only studied till class 10.
इस घटना पर पुलिस द्वारा तत्परता से कार्रवाई करते हुए एक अभियुक्त सचिन को गिरफ्तार कर लिया तथा थोड़े अंतराल के बाद दूसरे अभियुक्त शुभम को भी गिरफ्तार करके उनके पास से अवैध असला एवं घटना में प्रयुक्त ऑल्टो कार को भी बरामद कर लिया गया है. प्रारंभिक पूछताछ के दौरान अभियुक्त सचिन द्वारा बताया गया कि माननीय सांसद की पार्टी के पदाधिकारियों द्वारा दिए गए वक्तव्य से व्यथित होकर इस घटना को कारित किया है. घटना की छानबीन एवं साक्ष्य संकलन हेतु टीम का गठन कर दिया गया है एवं इसके कारणों की विस्तृत जांच की जा रही है.
For the UP elections, AIMIM has launched a new front, Bhagidari Parivartan Morcha, including 4 other regional parties with a support base amongst Muslims, other backward classes and Dalits. The Morcha has said it will field candidates on all the assembly seats.
Both the accused have now been sent for 14 days of judicial custody. The attack on Mr. Owaisi comes just a week ahead of the first phase polling in Uttar Pradesh and has raised a big question mark on the state of law and order, especially at a time when the increasing crime rate has been a major issue across parties throughout the election campaign. In Hapur, with Adnan and camera person Sushil Rathi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
Now, just days before Rahul Gandhi is set to announce Congress's chief ministerial face for Punjab elections, the Enforcement Directorate has arrested Chief Minister Channi's nephew in a case of illegal mining. Meanwhile, Navjot Singh Sidhu has launched a direct attack at Charanjit Singh Channi, who is his rival in this chief ministerial phase, the race for the chief ministerial phase. And Sidhu has said that the party must choose someone honest and with a clean track record.
The ED arresting Bhupinder Singh Honey, the nephew of Chief Minister Channi from Jalandhar, just over 15 days after they had raided him on charges of sand mining. The Chief Minister had earlier attacked the centre, claiming the raids were politically motivated. Today, he seemed to soften his stand, saying, According to the ED, the case goes back to a case of illegal sand mining registered by police in Nawashahar in 2018. The ED claims they have evidence that Channi's nephew Honey and his friend were directors in companies which are accused in the case Kudrat Deep Singh used to launder money made by illegal sand mining. The arrest could create complications for Channi, who it is believed would be named by Rahul Gandhi as its chief minister candidate in 2 days' time. Already Navjot Sidhu had stepped up his indirect attacks on Channi, telling NDTV that only those with a moral right to govern should be selected.
माफिया खत्म करना पड़ेगा, कॉर्पोरेशंस बनानी पड़ेंगी और जो खुद माफिया है उसका हिस्सा है वो प्रोटेक्टर इन चीफ जो है वो कैसे इस एजेंडे को लागू करेगा, ये बड़ा सवाल है.
Separately, at a public event, he took pot shots at the Congress High Command, saying people at the top want a weak chief minister.
मैंने दोनों एको गल कहनी है भाई, कहते नवा पंजाब सजना है मुख्यमंत्रियों के हाथ हुंदा है, ये ते कुछ नहीं चाहते महाराज, ऊपर वाले तो चाहते कोई कमजोर या मुख्यमंत्री होवे जड़ा इन्हां दी ताल दे उत्ते नचे ता तैया फिर उत्तों कहण नाच मेरी बोल के पैसा मिलेगा.
The opposition mounting its attack on Chief Minister Channi, holding protests outside the ED office in Jalandhar. Captain Amrinder, the BJP's Punjab ally, denied that the raids are political vendetta.
That's got nothing to do with it. Dekho, investigation is investigation. If the investigating officer feels that somebody is corrupt or somebody has done some gadbad, it's his job to do it. Why are you blaming parties?
Just weeks before Punjab polls, the Enforcement Directorate has arrested the nephew of Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi under money laundering charges in a 4-year-old illegal sand mining case. Now, at a time when Congress is going to pick its CM face within 2 days, will this arrest have any bearing on that? In Chandigarh, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
All right, in UP, Chief Minister Adityanath on Friday filed his nomination papers from Gorakhpur, where he is contesting his first state election as a candidate. Union Home Minister Amit Shah and several BJP leaders accompanied him in a huge show of strength by the party. Neither SP nor Congress has given any candidate, hasn't fielded any candidate against Yogi yet. But what do people of Gorakhpur think of these elections? What are the issues that really matter to them? Saurabh Shukla tries to find out.
Yogi Adityanath, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and the head of Gorakhnath Mutt, filing his nomination papers on his home turf. In attendance, all the party bigwigs, Amit Shah, election in charge, Dharmendra Pradhan and State Chief Swatantra Dev. Their main plank is law and order, while the opposition is targeting the Yogi government over lawlessness and unemployment.
आदित्यनाथ ने उत्तर प्रदेश को माफियाओं से मुक्त कराने का काम किया. या तो वो जेल में है, या तो वो उत्तर प्रदेश के बाहर चला गया है, या तो सपा की विधानसभा सदस्यों की सूची में दिखाई पड़ता है.
सिर्फ कुछ गिने चुने उद्योगपतियों को ये सक्षम बनाना चाहते हैं, और जो तमाम छोटे कारोबार हैं, जो छोटे बिजनेस के लोग हैं, जो छोटे दुकानदार हैं, उनके लिए कुछ नहीं किया जा रहा है.
27-year-old Nagendra, a tea seller not far from Yogi's election meeting. Nagendra, a graduate who earned about 10,000 rupees per month till a year ago at a cloth shop. The lockdown shut that down. Now he makes about 250 rupees per day.
22 साल कपड़े की दुकान पे थे, आज देख लीजिए चाय बना रहे हैं, 250 रुपए हम काम कर रहे हैं, 10,000 तनख्वाह पाते थे। क्या खुश रहे हैं सरकार में?
सरकार किसान और नौजवानों को एकदम दबाने का, एकदम दमनात्मक तरीके से वंचित करने का, दबाने का काम कर। खाद की कोई समस्या नहीं रही, बीज की कोई समस्या नहीं रही। हमारे यहाँ आज भी लीबिया धान खरीदती है, हमारे यहाँ आज भी खरीदती है। यहाँ किसान संतुष्ट है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, यहाँ कोई प्रॉब्लम।
यहाँ के डॉक्टर जो पढ़ाई करते थे वो बाहर के रिसर्च सेंटरों में जाते थे, आज रिसर्च सेंटर आपके गोरखपुर में बन गया है, एम्स हो गई।
In 2017, out of total 9 seats in Gorakhpur, BJP won 8 seats. Yogi is contesting the assembly for the first time, but has been MP 5 times from Gorakhpur. Till now, Samajwadi Party and Congress have not fielded any candidate against Yogi from Gorakhpur city seat. So far, Bhim Army Chief Chandrasekhar is the only main challenger on an Azad Samaj Party ticket.
जो मुख्यमंत्री पीड़ितों के दुख दर्द ना बांट पाए, वो भी ये कहें कि मैं सच्चा हूं या मैं अच्छा हूं, जनता जवाब देने के लिए बैठी है।
This temple decides that who will be the MLA from this seat. We don't see a huge challenge for Yogi Adityanath from this seat. But on the other 8 seats of Gorakhpur, Yogi Adityanath has to work really hard to win because Samajwadi Party is giving strong opposition to Yogi. In Gorakhpur with Rajesh Gupta and Salim Saurabh Shukla for NDTV.
The other big story, MPs of Tamil Nadu's ruling DMK and the Congress walked out from the Rajya Sabha day after the state governor returned a bill passed by the state assembly seeking exemption for Tamil Nadu from the National Entrance Cum Eligibility Test or NEET. The assembly had passed the bill in September last year. However, governor has now returned the bill saying it went against the interests of rural and economically poor students.
At this rural government school in Tamil Nadu, Janani, a medical aspirant, is worried. A day after, Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi returned the state government's National Entrance Test Exemption Bill, saying the bill, if approved, would affect interests of poor and rural students. The Tamil Nadu government had argued the contrary, that NEET needs to be scrapped as it's harmful for poor students who cannot afford private coaching, and that it's on the basis of class 12 marks medical admissions ought to be made. Janani agrees. She says her father, a turner working in a workshop, earns just 15,000 a month and she can't afford private coaching.
Board exam mark is taken as eligibility for medicine. Most rural students can fulfill their dreams to join medicine. So I prefer board exam as an eligibility.
However, Manisha, her friend and also a doctor aspirant, says that for medical admissions, it's better to have a higher level test like NEET.
Board exam is very easy, but NEET requires elevated thinking and broad understanding and concepts, so which will help to get qualified doctors in the future. So I prefer NEET over board exams.
This debate has boiled into a flashpoint between the Tamil Nadu government and the state's governor, going beyond a debate on NEET into questions of federal independence. Hashtags against the governor trended briefly on Twitter as all the major parties in Tamil Nadu criticized the governor for overreach.
So the recourse that is available to the governor is only forwarding of the bill, and he ought not to have examined the bill. What he has done here is he has examined the bill and he has returned the bill as if he is going to give assent, which in my opinion it is against the constitution.
Only the BJP, a marginal player in Tamil Nadu, backed the governor's move.
The governor, after going through it, has replied back a point by point argument on whatever he felt with respect to the words used in the bill. And he has asked questions. So I think the governor is absolutely right in his decision, and he has sent an elaborate reply also. Now we have requested the state government to please release the reply to the Tamil people so that we want to see what the governor has written.
Irrespective of the merits of NEET, this issue has raised questions on the powers of states versus the union government and what many call the center usurping powers, undermining the spirit of cooperative federalism. The ruling DMK has moved a constitutional amendment bill towards this in the parliament, and the state government would decide its next course of action after an all-party meet on Saturday. With Tayal Nagi and Annette Beryl in Chennai, Sam Daniel, NDTV.
Schools, colleges and coaching institutes in Delhi can reopen from Monday. Schools can reopen in phases. Classes 9 to 12 can run from the 7th of February. That was decided on Friday. The duration of night curfew has been reduced by an hour. It will now begin at 11 p.m. Offices can work with 100% attendance and people driving cars alone need not wear masks.
Delhi schools readying to reopen on Monday after being shut on 29 December last year. In the last 2 years, senior schools opened only for around 6 months and primary schools only for 18 days, seen as one of the longest and harshest COVID shutdowns anywhere.
ये महत्वपूर्ण फैसले इसलिए लिए गए ताकि कोविड केस अब धीरे धीरे जैसे कम हो रहे हैं तो जिंदगी पटरी पे लौटे, लोगों का व्यापार भी आगे बढ़े और पढ़ाई भी आगे बढ़े.
Apart from schools, colleges, gyms, spas and swimming pools have also been allowed to reopen from Monday. But it's a partial reopening. According to Delhi disaster management officials, classes to resume for 9 to 12 standard from 7th February with 100% capacity. Option of online classes will be available. Hybrid classes to continue and to be phased out gradually. Nursery to 8th standard classes to resume from 14th of February with 100% capacity. Option of online classes will be available. Government to ensure all nursery to class 8 teachers to be fully vaccinated. No online classes for colleges, ITIs, etc. in Delhi. Several parents and students have welcomed the decision with relief.
फैसला सर बहुत बढ़िया लिया गया है जो अभी ने लिया है और स्कूल सर खुलना ही चाहिए सर.
मैं भी बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ. बहुत टाइम से घर पे बैठे बैठे बोर हो गया. थोड़ा अपने फ्रेंड से भी मिलना है, क्लासमेट्स बात करनी है थोड़ी बहुत.
On Tuesday, the Delhi High Court called the mandatory mask mandate even for the solo drivers in the national capital as absurd. And now, with the relaxation in rule by the DDMA, if you're alone in your car and if you're not wearing a mask, you cannot be fined.
बहुत सब वो हो रही थी, कठिनाई बहुत बननी पड़ रही थी. जब काम धंधा है नहीं, अकेला आदमी जा रहा है तो भी पुलिस वाले रोक के उसको परेशान कर रहे हैं, 2000 का चालान काट रहे हैं. क्या फायदा?
Students will start returning to these classrooms as the number of COVID cases are falling down in the national capital and the Delhi government is easing restrictions along with reopening of businesses that have remained shut due to COVID-19. But to ensure that the schools remain functional and the businesses keep running, the first and the most important step is for the people to ensure strict COVID appropriate behavior so that COVID cases do not rise again and restrictions are not needed again in future. With camera person Mohammed Bursali, Namakshe Dongre for NDTV.